a graduate degree in computer science honors. And right after my college, like every other engineer or a graduate goes, mostly even I went to TCS right from my college. But for me, it was a boon. I got an opportunity to work on the research and development wing of TCS for quite some time before moving to the client side. So it was a great experience. And after that, after my journey with TCS, I joined a company called as Atos, which is a European based software company headquartered in France. So I am still a part of that company. So during this course, I, with my some of my colleagues from TCS, we formed our own company because we wanted like there are a lot of innovative ideas which we used to discuss. So we wanted to formulate everything. So we started our own company back in 2017, and for the for the first initial 2 years, we just did some service kind of job where we took the uh, like we used to take requirements from people and build the apps and websites for them. Back in 2019, we started our own product, which is live in market, which is like Book My Gym. You guys can Google about it later. So basically, it's a product that we have launched and it's currently live. So this is brief introduction about myself.
Give a small background of Book My Gym. That will be interesting.
Okay, Dilip. So basically, like one of our company member, co-founder, he was associated with fitness industry for quite some time, and there was a huge gap there. Like, it is a very we did survey across Pune in multiple gyms. So like people who buy 6 months or an year or a 3 months membership, they hardly go. Say for example, I buy for 3 months and I hardly go for 1 month. So that is true, that was true for 90% of the cases. So for the rest 2 months, for some or the other reason, I was not able to go to the gym. So the money that customer invests for 3 months is not utilized in the proper way. So shelling out more money basically. So what we thought and we came out was like pay as you go kind of concept. So for example, in a month, if I'm going for 10 days, then I would just pay for 10 days. I would not pay for the entire month. So generally how gym charges you, like they take the charges for 30 days. So it is up to you. You go or you do not go. You have to pay for the 30 days. It's not like it's loss for the users. So we broaden this pay as you go concept, wherein you can select the gym that you want to and book a single day pass. So for example, today I will be going to Gold's Gym, tomorrow I will be going to Multifit. It is of my choice. So whenever I go, I will be paying only for that day. So this is the basis of that product, but now it has developed to other bounds as well. Like we have our own trainer portal, and build our own platform using which the gym people can conduct online classes. So as you all know, like due to this ongoing pandemic, everything has become online. So is gym. So there are already a lot of our uh, competitors who have launched this online training. So we are coming up with an innovative product which will change the way in which the online training is being conducted. So we are going to launch that soon. So that is like a brief intro about this Book My Gym. I guess we should get to the topic because there is a lot to talk when it comes to mobile app. Okay, first of all, uh, we'll not go into hybrid mobile app. Let's see like why mobile basically. Say before seeing this stats, consider that had this pandemic had occurred 10 years ago, do you think we could have smoothly done everything as we are doing right now from sitting from home? It's not possible. Mobile has eased our jobs in so much day-to-day activities that even though it is lockdown, but still we are able to do our day-to-day activities very smoothly. So like consider like 10 years ago when there was not much mobile or mobile internets. So there were not much apps on the store, it would have been a disaster. Sitting at home, nothing to do, be a disastrous thing. But even in this pandemic, we have like mobile is like kind of a boon for us. We are able to do our day to day things very smoothly using this. So it has become one of our basic necessities now. It is like food, clothing, shelter, internet, and mobile. It is like that. So no, like we need mobile even for small and smallest of the tasks that we do in our day to day. So basically, I've taken some insights across platforms. I did some analysis to share these insights with you. So basically, if you see the market share for each mobile app platform, so like still like Google Play Store is way ahead of Apple. So these two are pioneers, Google and Apple Play Stores. They are pioneers, and Windows is almost like it is non-existent now, but still it had, this is like a data of overall 10 years. So it had its own existence during the start of this decade, but then they lost their plot completely. We also have Amazon App Store. I'm not sure how many of you know. Amazon also has their own uh, mobile thing like Amazon Fire or something, and developers can develop app for that platform. But even that does not have any existence as such. Maybe Amazon will enhance it, but not sure. So majorly the market is being captured by either Google or Apple. So these two are the major app platforms. And I had data for the last 10 years, but just like for the way it has been increased, I've considered these 3 years, 2016, 17, and 18. It's an exponential rise in number of apps downloaded yearly. So, 2018, it was 205.4 billion. So that is too much. Now I agree that it would have crossed, it would be near 300 at like close to 2020. That's how the rate in which like the apps that are getting downloaded are increasing year to year. So also I have some interesting stat, like uh, this is a survey that is done by Oxford University. So basically, this is for UK, but I consider that relatively for all other countries, the stats would be somewhat similar. So what they say is like 40% of smartphone owners listers, they just use their frequently used app is their social media apps. So you can see like close to 39 to 40% people use mobile phone just for social media, your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and etc. Then like there is a crowd who uses it for gaming. Like you can consider all those PUBG players, they come in this bucket. And then for communication and messaging app, WhatsApp and things like that. And then comes the retail apps, and in all others like the banking and all other kind of other category of apps will come. But majority of usage is for the social media apps. You can include the like the TikTok also in that. However, like the usage of it is gonna decline, but there has been a substantial increase in the TikTok usage also. Like for especially during this lockdown. So in a day they receive some terabytes of content that is being uploaded. So it is like they have not reached up to the mark of Facebook, but they are close to that level, like terabytes of content they receive in a single day. And then again, how many times people open mobile apps daily? So 1 to 10, 10 is being shown as like a huge chunk, but uh, this survey definitely would have been done before the lockdown. So I guess now, if you consider the current scenario, it would be at least somewhere around 21 to 50 times you will be opening and switching between the apps, because usage of mobile apps during this especially during these 2-3 months has been tremendous. And this is a very interesting insight, like why do people delete apps? So like for example, you downloaded it uh, for some purpose and later you're not using it, then you are like, that comes as the majority share. And then second, it comes as like you are looking out for some feature, but the app that you downloaded did not match to your expectations, so you first install and then download it immediately. And again, lack of storage, like you want only your essential and main daily used apps to be kept when your storage is almost full, so you will delete the apps that is not a priority for you. And then there is like for other reason as well. So these are some interesting insights, which shows us like why mobile is really necessary. And this is one, like this itself is a topic for a webinar, M-commerce. I'm not sure how many of you have heard this term. If you have not heard, M-commerce is nothing but anything that you buy using your phone and pay for it, that comes under the category of m-commerce. So like according to 451 different research, the number of transactions in m-commerce has surpassed the number of transactions in e-commerce. So guys, e-commerce started way back in 2000, okay, 2000 2001, and even before that, but substantially to the normal people it started around 2000. And then mobile apps, especially the mobile shopping, that started right in this decade. So even though e-commerce existing for such a long time, m-commerce didn't take much time for it to surpass the number of transactions. So in 2019, the number of transactions that has been done through mobile phones has surpassed the total number of transactions that has happened till now in e-commerce. So if you consider, uh, like if you see that, then it's a very interesting and important insight, suggesting like why mobile phones are becoming so useful options for us. And 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 provided, considering the current conditions, contactless transactions are the need for the hour, because we don't want the pandemic to spread more. The cash transactions has reduced. People are now voluntarily doing transactions using Paytm or Google Pay. They don't want to take risk of handling the cash. So these contactless transactions, they are the need of the hour. Okay. What comprises of m-commerce? Mobile shopping, mobile banking, and mobile payments. So these three play a vital role uh, to the m-commerce. Mobile shopping, as you all know, like Amazon, Flipkart, and all others things that we usually do. So especially during this lockdown, all those essentials we got delivered. So you might have seen all those platforms which were doing food deliveries, they started this delivering of essentials. So basically they have created a new business during this period. Mobile banking mobile banking, so it is estimated that by the year 2025, the number of banks that we have will be reduced by 50%. So like everything, most of the things will be digitized, and it will be you will be able to do everything from your mobile app. So all those so the number of banks that we have right now will be substantially reduced. So like to an if for example, right, in an area if there are 10 banks, then in coming future it will be 5. That doesn't mean that people are going stop going to use the banking services. They will, but they will be there will be ability to do everything from your phone. Consider 10 years ago, or 5, even 5 years ago. So even for smallest of these things, you had to go to the bank and then had to do it manually. But now, right from opening an account to everything, you can do from your phone. They just come, their executive will come to your home. They'll have their own devices, and everything happens in that way. So there is no need for the customer actually go to go to the bank for the basic things like withdrawing cash and things like that. So all those things can be easily managed via your mobile apps. And I've already spoken about the mobile payments, like how important they are during these days. We can't imagine now with a life without Google Pay or Paytm. It has become a new daily. So that is the importance of MCommerce. And then Internet of Things. Again, this is something that itself is a topic for a separate webinar. But mobile mobile apps or mobile devices and Internet of Things, they go hand in hand. Okay, so I'll just give a brief about this. So basically, these are some insights that I found from various sites. There has been an exponential growth in IoT sector from 2019 to 2020. So you can see the amounts, the figures that are given there. It's exponential increase. And also, like, basic things, to give an instance, in the next decade, our manufacturing sector that we have will be completely it will be completely changed, and all like will be doing with help of this Internet of Things and IoT and mobile apps. So basically, consider, say, the people who are working on wind energy. So I have developed a mobile app for one of our clients, wherein, like, you can, from your app, monitor what is the turbine speed, and you can you can see how much electricity it has generated. You can see if there are any faults in one of the turbines, and what are the errors that have occurred. So which sensor has failed, and all those things. So initially, like, if anything happens, then people have to manually go to the turbine and check everything. But now, with the help of Internet of Things and mobile app, we can read those values from the sensors that are there on the physical devices, and you can monitor them very easily from the mobile apps. Manufacturing is not the only industry. So Internet of Things will be like, it will be it will come in into all the sectors of our day-to-day life. Okay, so basically, I have till now what I spoke about is, like, why mobile, and, like, what is the relevance of mobile app in our day-to-day life. Okay, so now I just want to talk about the topic that I have that I'm going to talk in deep. That is, like, hybrid mobile app. So um, I'll tell you what is the difference between a normal mobile app and a hybrid mobile app. A normal mobile app, say an Android app or an iOS app, has to be built natively for that platform. Natively, as in, for example, if I have to build an Android app, I have to write the code in Java, or, like, basically, which follows the syntax for the Android, and then I have to build it, that we can install that APK, whichever is the build that we can install in the app and use. Say now I want my functionality or my app to be there in the iOS platform as well. Then again, I have to build the whole thing in the iOS, that is, like, Objective C or Swift, and then I have to build the IPA file and then install it in the iPhone. So basically, that is a native mobile app, wherein you have to build the application natively in that language where which is supported by that platform. Now, talking about hybrid app is like, you have to build in one platform, and you can export it and use it in multiple. You have to build it in one way, and you can export and use it in multiple platforms. Say, as the name suggests, hybrid, it is like, it contains both native and web solutions. Generally, the hybrid app is written in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript based framework, which are then encapsulated within a native application. So I need not, for example, if I want to digitize my business, say I want my own mobile app, then uh, earlier what people used to do is they had to invest money, and they have to hire resources who are skilled on Android or iOS, and then they have to do the whole thing 2 times and then move it to the store. Even if any new feature used to come, they have to do it again in both the platforms. So that was becoming a big bottleneck. So then came the hybrid mobile app, wherein you can write your code in one platform and then export it in whichever platform you want. So these are few importance, or I can say features of hybrid mobile app. Fast development. So you need not have any extra skills to develop a mobile app. If you guys know the basics of HTML, CSS and JavaScript, then that is enough for you guys to build a mobile app. Of course, like there are some extra things that will be required, but if these are the crux of the hybrid mobile app, so the development will become very fast. And then reusability, as I spoke about, you can reuse your whole thing into whichever platform you want. You need not redo that again and again. And then finding resources is a very important thing, aspect for any business. If you want to digitize your business, if you want to have your mobile app, then earlier it was very difficult. You had to find resources who know Android, you had to find resources who know iOS, and then everything was double. You're spending the money 2 times. But now if you want to digitize your business, and if you think you want to go into the hybrid platform, you just need to find the resource who knows HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So in a way it becomes very easy, and you have to just do your thing once, and then you can reuse it. Even the enhancements and all, they can go very smoothly in both the platforms together at once. However, there are few disadvantages or limitations as well. That is user experience. If, for example, I have built some app in native, say Android, and then I have built some app using the hybrid mobile app framework. When you use that app, there will be little bit you'll find some usability. It will not be very smooth as it is in the native app. So you will be able to make out that difference. So there like the user experience will not be as great as it is there in the native. And then performance, as in, like, what happens is, like, uh, when you build an native app is nothing but in your mobile, it will open a inbuilt browser, and within that browser your app gets rendered. So whenever you do some interactions from that browsers, it will interact with your devices, sensors and all those things. So always there is a lag. But in Android, your code can directly interact with the hardware. That there is no intermediate thing that is there. Hence the performance will be better in the native apps. But uh, in general, if you want to if you want to have some e-commerce or related thing, or like something like basic app which collects some information, or things like that, then you can go with the hybrid solution, because performance really doesn't matter on those cases. So you just need your presence in digitally, so you go here. So these are like few advantages and disadvantages, limitations of hybrid app. Okay, again I have got this thing just for your uh, understanding, like, what are the quick wins for native app and quick wins for hybrid app. Native app allows user, like, you can discover your app easily on the Play Store and App Store. Like you can do app level, uh, like for the website there is search engine optimization. So like there is also something called as app engine optimization. So when you search something on the Play Store, you can list your app in front, if it's a native app, because it allows you to access the metadata and all those. And then, like, you can easily access the device's hardware, and which will you can, if for example, uh, you are dealing with some app that deals with 3D model rendering and things like that, then it is suggested that you go with the native app, because uh, you will be able to access the app's hardware much in a easier way. and then better user experience. You look at the quick wins for hybrid app, basically portability, that is the biggest win here. One code and multiple platforms. Even using hybrid app, you can access the basic sensors of an app like camera or a gyroscope and things like that, or location, but that happens through plugins. So basically there will be third party plugin. You have to raise a request to the plugin. The plugin will interact with the hardware, and then so there is an intermediate here, hence it will be a little bit slow. Your like the performance will not be that good, and again it's like cheaper cost and faster to the market. So basically you can develop once and then it will go to the market very fast. Okay, now uh, let us see like which all platforms provide us this ability of building an hybrid mobile app. Okay, so these are few well-known platforms that provide a way in which you can build the hybrid mobile app. So basically Ionic is the one, and then we have something called as Adobe PhoneGap. There is this React Native, we have EXTJS, we have Xamarin, and then we have Mendix. But extensively used is Ionic, React Native, and Xamarin. Okay, PhoneGap basically Ionic and PhoneGap, they were like one of the first few platforms that started the ability of building this hybrid mobile apps. PhoneGap was not associated with Adobe earlier, and then later Adobe had acquired this. So now it's Adobe PhoneGap. Earlier it was only PhoneGap, and then we have something called as Mendix. Basically, the Mendix is not actually a hybrid mobile app framework, but it's a low code hybrid mobile app framework. Low code as in you need not code. You'll have a IDE wherein you can just drag and drop your elements, and then you can create your design in a much faster way. So it's a low code hybrid mobile app framework. It's a framework that is built by this company called as Siemens. So they are it's like there are a lot of new apps coming that are built using hybrid, but sorry, using Mendix, but it's not as popular as Ionic or React Native. Today I'm going to talk much deeper about the Ionic framework because this is the widely used, and basically they have a very beautiful set of reusable components, which is very easy even for a beginner to build an app. And again they have like you write once and run everywhere. Developer friendly tools, like it's very easy and simple. If you know the basics of HTML and JavaScript, then you can easily learn Ionic. It's not anything like a rocket science. And then you can build your app with your favorite framework. Say for example, if you know Angular, you can build a mobile app using Angular and Ionic. If you know Vue.js, you can build your Android app using Vue.js and Ionic. If you know React, you can build your mobile app. And again, if you don't know any of these, if you just know JavaScript, just using the plain JavaScript and Ionic framework, you can build your mobile app. And then these are few examples of apps that are built using the Ionic framework. So you all know about this EA Sports. Basically, not about their gaming app, but EA Sports have their mobile app from where you can purchase or order for their game CDs or those PlayStation discs. So that app is built using the Ionic framework, and this CNBC stock trading app. So as you know that stock trading means it requires like constant connection with the data, and it shows you like huge amount of data, but still using Ionic it works very smoothly, and a lot of people are using it. And then you might be knowing about this clothing brand called as Diesel. They are using Ionic for their online delivery or ordering of the products. And then this is Book My Gym, which is my own product. I have used certain apps which are not live to the public, but that are being used by these gym owners and the dealers and trainers. This is for the internal management apps that we have built on the Ionic framework. And believe me, we have received only positive feedbacks and people are liking it. So it's a great framework and a good skill to add on. Basically, I thought that I'll not just only present or talk about the framework, but also show you something which I did at 2 p.m. I have started building an app which is called as the COVID tracker app. Okay, so I have built this roughly in around 1.5 or 2 hours. Basically, I am reading the data from the World Health Organization free API, and for the India's data, I'm reading the Ministry of Health Affairs data. So exactly, this mobile app or a basic app which shows the total cases or the COVID related stats, I have built using this Ionic framework in just a matter of 2 hours. And believe me, like, I am not good at designing, but still, uh, this framework gives so much things that even people like me who are not very good at designing can design apps. I work on the my core area is like behind the business logic, where how to fetch data and how to do those payments in a secure way and things like that. I know the basics of designing, but I would not call myself an expert. But still, I am able to do a decent looking app. So you can estimate like how simple it is. And then, like, as you can see, I am these are like live numbers that I am showing you guys. I'm reading this data from the Ministry of Health Affairs. So this is for India, and just I'm showing top 5 states. So basically, this is the app that I have built roughly in around 2 hours of time. And you can see, like, I'm just showing, making it very simple, like showing the global stats, like total cases in throughout the world. And for India, I'm showing the stats for our country, and I'm just showing the top 5 states with their total active and the deaths basically. So this is the basic app. That's the power of Ionic framework. So if you think you have an idea, and if you know like what you have to show, and exactly if that will be useful, then building that and implementing that will be done very easily. So the prerequisite is just you just have to know the basics of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And believe me that that's not a rocket science to learn. You can learn it very easily. So to get back to the slide, this was a quick demo of what I did for this session. And then how I did it is something that is in front of you. I have used this Visual Studio Code as an editor. You just need to have these, and these are very basic tools that you can install in any of your software, so it does not any of your machine. So my machine that I am currently presenting is a normal 4 gigs RAM laptop, and still I am able to do this smoothly, so it doesn't eat up any of your memory. So that is also one of the biggest plus points of building an hybrid mobile app. If you're building a native mobile app, the minimum requirement, for example, if you're going for an Android platform, you need basic 8 GB RAM to run that Android Studio. And if you have 16 gigs, then it is the best. Like, you can work without any performance issues. So that's a minimum requirement. And the same goes for the iOS as well. You need a powerful machines to build apps that will run on, like, to build native apps. But in case of hybrid, even a mediocre machine can be used, and it doesn't take any memory and easy to develop. So these are the tools that I use to develop this hybrid app.
So let me just read out the first question to you, so you can, meanwhile, if I want to write my first application, which can be useful for mobile iOS web, how can I build that app?
To understand the concept, so basically, the first thing that you have to know is like what kind of app you are building. Okay, so if you're building something, as I said, if you're building something related to 3D modeling or augmented reality or things like that, then you have to basically go with the native. Okay, and if you are going to build something relatively simpler, like ordering something, and then, like, you have you cook a very good food at your home, and you want to start a business of selling home cooked foods. then if this is something like that, then you can very well use this hybrid app, because it is very simpler to build, and you can go into the market very earlier. So based upon the features that you have in your app, you have to first decide whether you have to go with the native platform or the hybrid platform. And then if it is a hybrid platform, then I would recommend you to go with Ionic, because that is very easy to learn. The learning time is much less, so you can learn it quickly and implement it. And also they have their uh, community edition, or the paid version, in which like they manage everything from builds to deploying it to Play Store and things like that. So for example, you don't want to take all those things, you just want to write the code and check it, and then leave it to them. They give this service of do the security testing, and then creating the build and putting it into the Play Store. It's their job. So that is something that they give in their paid version.
Are these softwares open source?
Yes, they are. All of them.
All of them.
Whatever I showed today, everything is open source. Nothing is a paid tool. However, Ionic has few things, like they have paid plugins as well. Like for example, if you want to do this Wi-Fi based sharing between the app to app sharing, like share it or something like that. So they have those kinds of plugins that are paid. Basic things, you'll get it for free. If you want something very specific feature, then that is paid. And also, if you cannot find any plugin that suits your requirement, you can write to the Ionic team. They will write the plugin for you. That is the best part of it. If they feel that it is a genuine requirement and it will be useful for all the future developers, then they'll do it for free. This is something very good for them, and I have seen this happen. So I started my first mobile app, which I built on the Gingerbread version of Android. That was my first Android experience. So lot of things has changed from that. I still have that APK.
Awesome. Awesome. So, hey, one quick question from my side, right? So, do you see these, web pages which are opening inside? If you open a web page inside a Facebook app or a LinkedIn app, they open in their own browser. Have you noticed that? So,
Yes, yes, yes.
how do you think they deploy that? Like, how does it interpret like how do they write a browser instead of an app?
So basically, there is this tool called as Webview. So it is just like an iframe, I can say. So basically, inside the Webview, you just have to give a URL, and it will automatically open that. So that is no rocket science behind that. It's a plugin that is available in native as well as in hybrid. So if even in hybrid app, if you want to open some URL, then you can do that. So I spoke about that wind energy app that I was doing, right, during
Mm-hmm.
the explanation. So
Mm-hmm.
we did this basically. There was a requirement that they wanted to see the 3D model of the windmill. That the engineer want to see a 3D model of the windmill, that they have, that where the issue is. And in the hybrid app, it is not easy to show 3D models and stuff. But
Right.
we had a web version where we show the 3D model. So what we did is we created an in inbuilt web view thing, and then pass that URL where our deployed 3D model is there, and it easily shows up there. So
Right.
that was a kind of hack that we did to meet the requirement. But yes, using web views, we can do that. Like you can load any URL within the app.
Right. Like just a quick follow up on that. Let's keep this short. Uh, how do you think these Facebook apps or Instagram app, not like the Facebook application, but apps which are built for Facebook? For example, do you see there are certain applications which write Instagram filters
Correct.
or Snapchat. So there are apps in which can be deployed inside of Facebook and Instagram or these applications. So there comes a separate AR studio to develop an AR filter for these platforms. So is that an app inside an app?
So for a layman's explanation, you can tell that it's an app inside the app. but to be very technical, it is called as multi-module apps. So there will be one parent app, and inside that parent app you can have n number of child apps. So
Mhm.
basically it is like that parent app will have the ability to open the child app within the container. It is built as an app only, but it can't be externally used. So
Right.
basically it can be used in any other app, any other parent. If for example I am developing one app and I want that filter, so I can use that filter inside my app.
Let's take this one. Is debugging easier in hybrid versus native?
Okay, so it's a very good question. Basically, to be honest, debugging, if you want inbuilt IDE supports for debugging, then I would say that native apps has that better. But as in the hybrid app, we are dealing with the browser, and like we can see whatever we are doing even in a browser. Chrome by default has a very good debugging tool. So I never faced any issues because I am able to debug. Like till now, whatever debugging I have done, I did not feel a single time that there has to be a need for an ID based debugging, because whatever I need, I was able to get that within the Chrome. So to answer the question, I would say that debugging is easy in hybrid apps, but we have this extra thing, like in a native app we can do the debugging even at the IDE. Like we need not look at the browser or things like that. We can look at the flow of the code. We can set the debugger points in the IDE that we are building.
So here's a question from Anand, right?
Okay.
Uh, what is your opinion on banning Android OS for Huawei?
So to give a brief about this, I will say like how the apps work basically. Okay, let us consider the Apple. They make their own chips. They have their own operating system. So it is very easy for them, for their operating system to efficiently use their hardware. So if you so that's why you would be seeing that the Apple phones, they never give this fancy RAM of 12 GB or 8 GB or something like that. Even a 4 GB RAM or a 2 GB RAM in an Apple device will perform much better than a 8 GB RAM in an Android device, because their operating system is efficient enough to use. The memory management is so good in an Apple, that because they have this efficiency at the OS level to manage their resources. But in Android, it is like it is like chip is made by some company, OS is made by Google, and then sensors are from made from other company. Everything is together fitted, and we get one thing. So we are not we can't effectively use the ability of the hardware. So that's why like we need this RAMs of 12 gigs and 8 gigs basically. And also to explain you much better, for example, uh, say if you open your camera, native camera app, and if you open camera from WhatsApp, it will be very different. The You will not be able to use the complete features of your camera and all those sensors from WhatsApp. You will be able to only use it from your native camera app, stock camera app that is there in your phone, because the WhatsApp software does not know, or it does not know how to access those sensors and all those necessary information. It can just access the camera, but it cannot effectively use those sensors and stuff. But your stock camera app knows how to effectively use that. Hence this difference is there. Getting back to the question of Anand, yes, Huawei is already making their own chips, and also I'm not sure many of you have heard or not. They are coming up with their own OS, the Harmony OS. It is called as Harmony OS. So if it becomes a success, then it will be very good comparison to do with Apple, because it will work in the same model. Because as Apple, Huawei will also be making their own chips and OS, and we can see that how effectively they can design their phones. But it's too early to say. So let's see. I hope that they come up with something, and it will, if they are able to make an impact, it will definitely impact the Android market. Okay, let us go to
Hmm.
uh, this question. Want to know the steps to develop the hybrid mobile app? I'm new to this.
New to it.
Okay, so basically, the steps are very simple. You just need to know in which platform you want to build your hybrid mobile app. There are lots of platforms that are available like Ionic, React Native, Xamarin. If you're a .NET guy, then you can go with Xamarin. If you know JavaScript, then you can go with Ionic. So, uh, but before that, you just want to know, like, you have to go with hybrid or native. That is something very important. So if you are able to distinguish that, then the second step would be like in which platform that has to be built.
Shriman, you can continue. Like in terms of testing, are these
Yes,
hybrid
yes, yes.
app
Yeah, yeah,
difficult,
yeah.
complex? Than
So basically, hybrid apps, like as they are built using HTML and HTML JavaScript, so you can do those automated testing using those Jasmine frameworks that is there. However, like for native, we have inbuilt testing tools that are built. Say, for example, Apple. So it's not very easy to put your app in Apple Store. You have to do your own you have to do a good amount of testing by yourself, and then when you say that you're ready to put it in the store, they scan your code and they come up with these things like what are the things that you have to fix. So in terms of testing, I would say that hybrid apps are bit you have to write a bit more of your scripting test scripts than as compared to the native apps. In the native app, it is bit more easier to test your components than in hybrid app, but again, like, speed. So by the time by the time you're just developing your app in native, you would have reached the testing stage in your hybrid app. So in a way, it will be balanced.
all right, cool.
Yeah. And also, if anyone has some idea and they don't know how to formally get it into the paper in the form of an app, or if you need some suggestions for architecture and all those things, you can reach out to me, so I can help you on all those things. So I would be
So,
very happy to help you guys on that.
all right. So, thank you very much. Thank you, Shriman.